I'm here with Jhaimy Alvarez-Acosta, who is a traditional curandero, healer, and wisdom keeper from Cusco, Peru. Thank you so much for speaking with me, Jhaimy. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, my bro. Thanks for hosting me here. I say hello and sending blessings for you and for all the people that follow you. And it's such a big honor for me to be here with you.
Thanks. So I thought we could start out by, I wanted to ask you about your introduction to Andean wisdom and healing tradition. When did that begin for you?
Hmm. It's really interesting. Uh, Beginning many years ago, when I am born, my grandma is a healer, so um, I don't have a father. My mother is raising me for her own, and she need to go and work. And my grandma need to take care of me and bring me to, people coming to do coconut readings or some kind of therapies, and I am there sitting with her when she do all the readings. She's we call herbalistic. She's working with some kind of herbs and create remedies for the people. So I growing in this reality until I think I have like a 5 or 6 years old when my grandma passed. After this, I don't really touch this world until a major situation happened to me. Some robbers almost killed me. Um, when I have like a 16, 17, and it's beautiful. But one of the students of my grandma, he appeared in the house. He just knocked the door, and we changed houses. We go to live in another places, but I don't know how he finding us. And when my mom opened the door, he say, "Hi, Sylvia." My mom said, "What do you do here?" And he say, "Your mom guiding me to you. She said that I need to heal your son." And because of these robbers almost killed me, I feel really scared. I don't like to go out from my house. So there he do some kind of healing, do an offering for me, bring me back. And he's my first mentor, the one that introduced me to a circle of others. Yeah. So it's more or less in one way I always be in both of this. In another way, it's
Mm.
a huge separation. Mhm.
Yeah, so I guess, like, from our Western perspective, we might say that you suffered a trauma and you had a fear of going outside.
Mhm.
And so, how did he work with you to heal that trauma, to bring you out of that?
Um, Later, he showed me how, but basically something simple and difficult in the same moment. Uh, well, when I when the accident happened or the robbers almost killed me, I feel scared. And in this moment, one part of my soul that we call kalpa, that is mean the power or the force, the power of the soul, is one part of the soul. Go away. And I beginning to be really fearful to go out, to be, to talking with people, to be in the society. So what he do in the ceremony is bring me back, bring this piece that is moving away to return this piece to myself. And, and in this way heal my soul. Because when some piece of your soul go away, imagine if somebody live in your house and this person go away, the room is empty. you know, and there is growing many different things. The things that you put there. One thing that I put is fears, you know,
Mm.
so it's full of fears. When he do the ceremony to bring my soul back, when my soul go back to me, he go into the room and finding full of fears there. So there is beginning one process of clean.
Mm.
Okay, it's like you go back to your room and your room is a disaster, full of things, you know. So you need to clean. There is the beginning of my healing and my spiritual path, because my spiritual path is always go to try to clean and heal this room.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm processing everything that I put there. Mhm.
Yeah. So I'm not very familiar with the Andean tradition and the ways of cleaning. You know, I've only experienced really some Amazonian traditions, and they have their own ways of cleaning
Mhm.
with ayahuasca and tobacco, things like that. So, can you give me an idea of how in your tradition you do that cleaning work?
Mhm. Mhm. Um, okay, cleaning is one way of express the process, you know, because clearly is processing everything. What happens with when we have empty spaces in ourselves in our life? There we growing many things like what I say, fears, doubts, anger, frustration, sadness, you know. So part of the Andean traditions is go and connecting with this, but not to kill, not to push away, no, to processing. So in my spiritual practice, I facing my fears, for example, and I remember a beautiful ceremony when I facing my fears and I say, okay, I say hi, how are you? And he say, I am fearful. I have fears for these reasons. So the first things in the Andean tradition is you don't try to let it go. You try to hold in this energy, give love to this energy, respect this energy. You know, because it's there to teach something. You know, so we go holding, connecting, sending love, and supporting this energy to transform herself. My one beautiful master that I have, that is, his name is Don Victor Estrada. He told me one day and say, you know, all these energies, the sadness, the frustration, the anger is your child. You give life to this energy. You bring these energies here. So you like to kill your child? No, I say. So you need to support in your child. Yes. So go on supporting the transformation and the transmutation of these energies. When you give protection to the fears don't have nothing more to be fearful. So transform herself in some energy of, in more energy of love, of
Mm.
happiness, or joy, you know. So part of the Andean tradition is this. For this reason, for us, we don't believe in good or bad. We believe in the process.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
Yeah. No, I love that. I think, yeah, the fear and anger are usually showing up to protect us,
Sure.
right? So they're helpful, but maybe it's not always appropriate, or the fear and anger start to limit our lives in some ways. So it's like having a friend who's trying to do their best to help you, but you know, you have to say like, well, thank you for the help, but I don't need you. You know, I have the strength or something, right?
Um, yes and no. For example, you have one friend that have fearfuls, but it's not your friend, it's you. Okay. Sometimes people say, okay, you know, is no, I thank you for everything that you teach me, but okay, it's time for you to go away. You see, so one part of you go away, You see? So you don't go to feel fears, but you don't be in harmony because one part of you is moving away.
Mm.
In the Andean tradition, is really important the kapagnan. What is kapagnan? Kapagnan is the fair path. Okay? So you need to be fair with you. So it's fair for me to escape from my problems, so it's fair for me to be with my own world, with my own problems. And from there, beginning to supporting my problems to be my blessings. You see? So for this reason, the main work is with each person. I be in the spiritual path. And my main work is not to supporting people, it's to supporting me. I need to be a better human being. And with my experience of how I deal the things or how I deal with me, it's possible for me share my experience with another people. And another people may be finding some kind of instruments to deal with his own self. For this reason, I always say, my expectation, you know, I don't expect to be happy. I really love to be in peace, to be in peace with me, you see? And to be in peace with me, I need to try to have some kind of relation with my limitations. Because my limitations go to to help me to realize in what points I don't pay attention to my life.
Mm-hmm.
You see, or in what points I don't really be in harmony and be fair with me. Because what is happening sometimes is that we always love to be fair for the others, and people, humanity, and religion show us that you need to be good. You know, you need to be good for everyone. You see, and maybe good for you, but sometimes, but generally, be good. Sometimes, if you are good with somebody, you are unfair with you. So the Andean traditions teach you that you need to be fair with you, and if you are fair with you, and you make everyone to feel happy of this, fantastic. But when you are fair with you, if somebody there in your circle don't feel happy, is something that this person needs to learn because it's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is how you go to be in peace with you. You see, not around another people. And generally, sometimes we living for others,
Mm-hmm.
more connecting with their families, for example. No, you do everything for your mom or your brother or your whatever, your wife to be happy. But sometimes what you create for these guys to be happy is no, you don't feel good with this. You don't feel that it's fair for you. You see? So you go to provoke for everyone to feel happy, but the unhappiness is coming with you. So one part of you go to feel angry for you, with you. You see? So the question is, what part is more important? In one way, you are the most important part of your life. Because the only responsibility that you have in your life is you. Your child's too until these guys be 16, 17, when everyone need to be responsible for his own life. You know? So the only responsibility is you. My master always say, you are born alone and you go to die alone. So be responsible for you is the most beautiful reality. Now, sometimes people confusing this part and say this is to be a selfish.
Mm-hmm.
And one beautiful elder from Canada, he's Cree, he says it's nothing wrong to be a selfish. Mean that you are responsible with you. You see, so I like to interpret this world in this way,
Mm-hmm.
that I am responsible for me,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. So I wonder if
Mhm.
you could, when you were first started working with your teacher, that the healer that you mentioned, and you were processing your fear, what did that look like? How do you engage with the fear in your tradition? Is it during a plant medicine ceremony? Are you talking with your teacher? How does that work?
Um, well, I'm working with Wachuma San Pedro for almost 25 years now, you know. So when I beginning, I have a lot of fears, principally to work at night, you know. Um, some situations happen to me too, cases of exorcisms and difficult situations, you know. I see things there that is make me feel more fearful until I be connecting with the medicine and continue to feel this pain. And the medicine tell me fears. You know what is the translation of fears? Say no. Fears mean absolute respect. Every time that you feel fears, you mean that you respect the things that you don't know. Ah, so this part help me to transform this energy. No, I don't feel fears. I feel respect to what I don't know. And when I begin to transform the things and tell to my fears, no, you don't need to be afraid. You don't need to feel like this. Everything, these things that you feel is because you respect everything that you don't know. So all my world change. It's not that I have fears to deny and to do ceremonies. That is not that it's like I have a lot of respect to do ceremonies at night. You see, it's not that I have fears about the spirits, it's that I have respect to the spirits.
Hmm.
You see how everything changed?
Yeah, like you're respecting the power of the spirits or the plant medicine. Yeah, yeah.
You see, but it's not like I have fears to, I don't know, to be sick. It not mean that I have a lot of respect to the sickness.
Hmm.
Me, you see, so everything change is according how you, what is your point of view in this reality. You
Hmm.
see, my master always say everything have 2 points of view. Is depending of you what kind of uh, point of view you choose. And
Yeah, definitely. It seems like a switch from a more negative point of view that would be really limiting to one that feels more positive, that would allow you to still engage in life, right? But with a
mm,
healthy dose of respect for what you don't understand or what you don't know.
exactly, because if you, my master say the biggest key to open doors in a spiritual world is reverence.
Hmm.
You need to feel reverence. If you don't feel reverence, nothing is open for you. You see, and it's beautiful because I received this message from a spiritual world. You know, one day the spirits give me a beautiful message in Tiahuanaco. I remember that I we are in a beautiful ceremony there in the temple in Tiahuanaco in Bolivia, and some stones beginning to call me. And I say, no, 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 I like to be here in the ceremony. I don't like to go to the stones. So I don't know, I lose control of my body and I surprising me that I beginning to run to the stones. And when I arrive to the stones, I just crush myself there. And I say, ouch, you know? So the, the spirit, the stone, what we call hapu, tell me, when I say for you to come, you need to come.
Mm.
Okay? And it's 7 stones, and I holding each of the stones, and in each of the stones I receive some message. And well, long story short, the message is like this: say, with reverence, look your internal world, and walking. No, sorry. Yeah. With reverence, look your internal world, and walking with to feeling the power of your heart.
Mm.
You see, with no fears, look your internal world,
Mm-hmm.
and it's part of what is happening to me because, and I think every single human has way more fears to look herself than look outside. You know, for this reason, we are so critical sometimes. We say, oh yeah, look, this person like this other person like this. Because it's have fears, it's more easy to look outside than look inside.
Mm-hmm.
You see? So it's so much fear. The people have a lot of fears to look internally. And it's just you know? And walking with reverence and feel the power of your heart is maybe the most pure way to walk in life, generally. You know, walking with reverence. You need to walk, feel these kind of things. No respect. Respect whatever person feels respect. And respect is something that is already so much poisoning. You know, reverence is one more level of respect.
Mm.
You know, people just feel respect, reverence for God sometimes. You know, and I describe to my students, I say, how you feel reverence. Imagine you are in the top part of the mountain and you see all the stars and you realize how small you are in comparison of all these stars and you feel, wow, this is reverence, you know. Imagine you're in the middle of the ocean in a little boat and nobody is around you. You see the ocean, how huge it is, and you say, wow, you know, this is reverence. And reverence is something that go to open every single door. And Wachuma, the medicine, teach me that you need to feel reverence for you. Because when you see you, how amazing you are, not this body, not this consciousness, no, you, the soul, the one that create all this reality, you that transcend names, the only thing that is possible for you to say is, wow,
Mm-hmm.
you see? So this is reverence.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have reverence, it's possible for you to walk in this vibration. So you recognize that you are, wow, something so huge, and you recognize that every single human is the same.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Yeah.
have reverence for you and for everyone.
Yeah. I think that feeling of reverence is something that the plant medicines have really helped me connect to. Like when you describe being at the top of the mountain and feeling so small, or in the middle of the ocean, feeling so small. Uh, the plant medicines have made me feel that way too. Like with the power of something like ayahuasca, feeling like I'm so small, and so like young in comparison,
Mm.
like a little child. You know, that's often the way that it makes me feel. And so it leads me to feel more humble
Mhm.
in relationship to the awesome reality. Now, I wonder for you, when you work with people and you're helping them connect to that self reverence, how, like, I could easily see how that could turn into having an inflated ego or a sense of
Mhm.
self. So, how do you find that balance between staying humble and being self reverent?
It is beautiful, you know. Um, One more thing. When you see, for example, you mentioned this part, standing up in the top part of the mountain, and you see all the stars, and you feel so small. In this moment, you say, "Wow!" No? But also exists an irony we call reciprocity, relationship. So in this moment, all the stars look at you and say the same. Wow, look how huge is this human. How amazing it is. Because it is a relationship. The relationship is that you go and connecting with the stars and say, wow, so the stars need to answer to you in the same way. If no, it's not a relationship. So in this moment, all the stars in the in the universe say the same, feel the same for you, because you are there, bring and connecting with this feeling that is not yours. It's universal. It's for you, but it's no. So it's with you, but it's not for you. You see.
Right.
So it's company you, but it's not yours.
Mm-hmm.
You see. So this is maybe the main key to try to be humble in this path, because it's easy when you teach the things for the people to go and be more with egocentric, and say, oh, everything is for me. But when you realize that everything is in one relation, in a relationship, you don't have room for this part, because you know that you are a beautiful part of something, and something is a beautiful part of you.
Right. You're just part of the beautiful whole. Yeah. No, I
Exactly.
love that. And it's cool because I was going to ask you about Aini because it's a concept that I've heard about and I wanted to ask you about it. So it's great that it came up naturally. Um, something some
Well,
Well, something else I wanted to ask you about. I noticed in one of your workshop descriptions, you talk about this Andean model of the person, of the three bodies, the serpent, the puma, and the condor. And I love these models. There's these models in yoga, and it helps me kind of organize the way I think about myself or the way I see myself. So I find them very helpful, and I'm curious about this model, serpent, puma, and condor. What do they
Condor.
represent?
Well, originally the ancestors talking about three worlds or three bodies. Okay, Catholics understand this part in a different way. When say, oh yeah, this is the the ancestors talking about three bodies. One is or three worlds. That is Uhupacha, Kaipacha, Hanakpacha. Uhupacha, the Catholics mention and say, oh, this is the demon place, underground. The ancestors say, no, it's under Mother Earth. So is the demon place? No, it's just under. And this is the only place where you go in and regenerate yourself. Because it's like cultivate one part of you inside of Mother Earth. So Mother Earth go to potentialize what you put there and bring one tree. You see? Now, we are agricultors, so everything of our understanding is related by Mother Earth. what you cultivate underground is always go to growing and reproduce. Okay? This is related by the totem there is the snake, because the snake don't have feet to walk, don't have feathers to fly. It's moving in the matter by vibration. You see? The second level, there is the Kai Pacha. Kai means this present, this reality. Okay? And in this present, in this reality, exists one energy that supporting and give life to this reality. Some people call power. Okay? The totem there is the puma, because the puma for us represents the power. Say that every time that he walk, he just feel the connection with Mother Earth and follow what Mother Earth teach to him. So Kai is one world that is really connecting with what is Mother Earth guiding you, and you just need to follow her. You see? And the third level is the Hanach Pacha. The Hanach Pacha represents the condor, you know, the big spirit, the sky. How this huge bird arrived to the kingdom of the Father Son. And he brings blessings to us. You know, support humans that live in the Kai Pacha. Well, this is, according to the ancestors, how is the representation of the three worlds in the Mother Earth. But also, you have the three worlds inside of you, in your life. You know, the Uhupacha, that is the internal world, is your mind. Everything is connected there. Everything in your mind is electricity, moved by vibration. For the reason the snake. You know, this body, the physical form, is represented by the Kai Pacha, the puma. And your soul is connected by the Hanach Pacha, the condor. Now, how you go to describe the Hanach Pacha? It's difficult because you need to go and connecting with the spiritual world, and you need to go and connecting with your soul. You see? According to the ancestors, say that don't exist three worlds, exist just two, the mental world and the spiritual world. And this guy is dancing, have a dance that is to do this. Every time that these guys touch each other together, in this moment create this reality. For this reason, this third world, the second world, that is the Kai Pacha, represent the puma because it's the power of the creation of these two realities. You see? Mm-hmm. So now, talking about more spirituality and Aini, exists a relationship between these three worlds. You know, Aini means relationship with everything and everyone. Right now we do this part, but we don't know how many people go to see this video, listen this video, you know. And we're talking about this. We're talking about that every time, everything that we do, already the people beginning to listen to things because it's people that waiting for this message. This is Aini. Aini is the relationship with everything and everyone. So you have a relationship with, in this moment, you have a relationship with everyone around you. Cars that is moving, and you have a relationship with everything around you. Plants, the stars, the lineage, everything is in a perfect harmony in this moment. You see, this is Aini. So exists an Aini between these three worlds. You see, some people just thinking that if I harmonize one world, that is the spiritual world, is everything. No, because you forget another two parts of you. You see, now generally the people thinking that if you go to beginning the transformation of your life, you need to begin in the transformation from the spiritual world, because the spirit is the most big energy that knows everything. No,
It's the most exciting for some
no,
people, right?
but is know what is the key. The key is to know every single world and move everything in every single world. So your body has something to share, your mind has something to share, and your soul have something to share. Nobody leading the transformation. The transformation is coming for the three ones together.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
see?
No, I love it. Hmm. Did you want to say more about that? Or I have a question. Well, I'm curious about. So I love what you said there. It's beautiful. It reminds me of, like the Buddhists say that with our minds we create the world. But through psychology, we also know that the world helps to shape our mind. And I think that this teaching that you just shared really captures that, how we're always in relationship. Yes, we're creating our reality to some extent, but our environment, our upbringing, our culture is also shaping the way that we create that reality for ourselves. So I feel like you really captured that in a very poetic way, talking about
Thank you.
how that middle world, our kind of everyday reality, is a product of this relationship between the spiritual and the
The
mental and the
mind.
spiritual. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm curious about, in your tradition, how you work with all of these levels of the person. How do you work with the body? How do you work with the mind? Are there specific practices?
Exists specific ceremonies that we do to working in each different aspect, maybe the most beautiful way to working in all the three aspects together is is to make rituals. Um, in my society, we don't know what is the meditation, for example. Our way of meditation is not sitting and do and connecting and try to exploring everything that is happening with us. In our tradition, if you need to go and try to finding answers, you need to walk to the mountains. So for us, walking is beginning to be a ritual. So there, you go to use your body, to move your physical body, and beginning to observe with everything, with your eyes, with using your mind, try to connect and try to visualize and absorb everything that exists around you see. And when you're connecting with this, with everything in existence, there is coming the divine energy to bless it. So for us, we do rituals in this way. So the rituals continue supporting us to move ourselves, to realize some things, learn, and also to receive some things from the spiritual world. You see, for this is our way to do, digamos, to connecting with what is nature. You know, and the most important part for us is nature. Yeah. Um, why the masters, my elders say, why you need to change you, who you are to change yourself. You see, what do you think you believe to change you? Because you are perfect in the way that you are, with all your limitations, with all your blessings. You are always perfect. Respect your nature. And from there, beginning to working in your nature, supporting your nature, but respect who you are. You see, sometimes people don't do the things. I like to be like another person, you know, and I need to change myself to be like him or like her. You see, And this create one huge trauma inside of you because you don't respect who you are.
Mm.
You see, so part of the rituals that we do and how we harmonize these three bodies is to have to learn and to finding respect between the three realities. And together, these three realities have his own nature. And the work that we do is try to finding our nature, you know. I always say to my students, you love to go to see the mountains and walking in the forest and all the things. Nice. You have some of these things you have inside of you. Discover this part. What is your nature? And respect this nature. And from there, beginning to potentialize this nature.
Mm. Mm.
And finally, you go to be you.
Yeah, which is
The
what
you.
nature intended anyways, to have a unique you.
Exactly.
Not a bad copy of Jhaimy.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'll be a very bad Jhaimy. Only you can be the real
Exactly.
Jhaimy.
Exactly. Because it's, it's because I am the only one that is possible to be,
Yeah.
you know. Each person have the same things. You are the only one that is possible to be. For this reason, Andean tradition, when I teach Andean traditions, I don't expect for you to be an Andean shaman. You know, I try to support him for you to be the best version of you. You see, the
Mm-hmm.
best human being that is possible to be.
Mm.
You know, this is the main focus. I think all the spiritual um, teachings, classes, traditions, the only thing that try to supporting is for you to be the best version of you.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
see.
So you have a special connection with Canada. I know you teach here quite a bit. When you're working with people from the north who might be from a European background, or maybe they're from an Asian background, or wherever they're from, people who aren't from the Andes, and you're sharing these teachings with them, um, I think I can speak for myself that not growing up with a spiritual tradition from my own culture, having lost that somewhere along the way with my ancestors, often, we're looking for something to incorporate into our lives so that we have this connection with our own soul and spirit. How do you talk to people about that? About maybe a tendency to take on some of your rituals? Is that
Mm,
something you encourage people to do, or do you help them find their own way of doing ritual?
mm, mm. Well, interesting question. One thing that I realized in many ways, people is lost and try to finding something more, you know. And I don't think it's just in countries like Canada. If not, it's everywhere. In one hand, we have people here in Peru that don't know nothing about his own culture,
Mm, right.
and this is Peruvians, you know. Or we have people in the community that is angered to be an indigenous person, you know, because like to be something different. You see, so everything in every single place, I think humans have right now a really huge problem of identity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, identity because don't know who you are. You know, and this is a little difficult because if you don't know who you are, you don't know what you want. You see, so everyone in humanity right now have the same challenge. Now we supporting people in some, we teach sometimes. I teach Andean traditions, but I ask for my students after the first or no, the second or third class. And I always try to explain this part and say, this is not something that is a souvenir, you know, that you can buy one day and go away. You see, it's possible you go to receive something, you know, but it's almost nothing. You see, I like to teach the people that this is a path, you know, and I think this is the main challenge in societies like Canada when you have so a lot of everything. You see, one day I asked a question for my elder, Cree elder in in Canada, and say, Master, why do you think these guys or your young people have these problems? And he say, it's because don't feel hungry, have too much of everything.
Mm.
You see, so if you have Thai food, you have I don't know, pizza, you have a hamburger, and you try to eat everything together, you don't enjoy one flavor. You see, so part of what I try to support in people is to make the choice. Okay, I go to eat hamburger, and I go to eat the hamburger. I don't need to eat the pizza in the same moment. I don't need to eat the Thai food in the same moment. I finish my hamburger. I follow this path, finish the hamburger, and next time I go to buy the pizza and eat the pizza and enjoy the pizza too. You know, but it's something that you need to find it. And right now, with how is the society, principally in Canada, the States, is a lot of unrespect. You know, for traditions, for plant medicines, for everything. And sometimes what the new age movement try to teach you is to that you have the rights to do everything that you like. If you do things with love, it's no problem. Do it because it's everything that you feel love. So it's possible for you to do everything that you like. I mean, in older times, we don't have the rights. This idea of rights is don't exist in older times. In older times, you have responsibilities. So, is responsible for me do this part? Yes, or maybe not. So, how I go to play with plant medicines if I don't know how to deal with the things? I see cases that is so crazy, like what I described, exorcisms, people that lost herself, people that don't like to come back, So what do you do?
Mhm.
In spirituality, and I need to say this part, maybe nothing is peace and love. Spirituality is full of things, full of realities. And people sometimes confusing herself and try to, you know, just enjoy one time something. And it's not respectful. So my I realized that the medicine in the same way that bring illumination for you, in the same way it help you to be lost. You
Mhm.
see? And I realized that the new age movement need to learn something. A simple word that is no.
No. Mhm.
No. If the humanity of the new age movement learn what is no, I think go to be really more responsible for herself with their own path,
Mhm. Mhm.
and go
Well,
to help really deep to humanity.
yeah, I know. In Cusco, you work as a tour guide for people. You take them on tours, right? So you see a lot of people coming down for plant medicine tourism, spiritual tourism, and I guess that you might be one of the best people to ask how that is impacting the local economies, but also the local culture and community.
Ah,
Is that a hard question?
it's a really hard question. Well, create a lot of confusion,
Hmm.
and it's really, really sad to see. Uh, it's really sad to see. I seriously, when I go and look somebody that using plant medicines, ayahuasca, wachuma, to just do, for example, Buddhism. The guy go and learn Buddhism in some place and later come and use ayahuasca and try to empower the ideas of Buddhism. What need to do Buddhism with ayahuasca? It's different symbology, different reality. So, or some people using ayahuasca with the Catholicism and talking about demons, angels, and things like this. In Brazil, it's really famous. Santo Daime is like this, and Santo Daime is using ayahuasca with a Catholic background. This is not respectful. So, how is possible for us, indigenous people, to feel if you see how the people manipulate your medicine?
Hmm.
You see, and the most that the people manipulate the energy, the most that we lose the pure essence of the medicine. Exists in the Andes two energies. One is Sami and the other is Hucha. Sami is living energy, really pure, refined nature energy. The other is Hucha, is human vibration,
Hmm.
really solid, heavy, strong, human reality. Okay? So every time that we take, for example, one plant, the plant exists in Sami vibration. Every time that you touch this plant, you go to put a little more hucha. You begin to transform this energy in more hucha, 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 hucha. Hucha, human reality. You see? So, for this reason, the ancestors, when prepare the medicine plants, try to touch the less that is possible. So, you're holding more the sacrality and the essence of this medicine, the Sami vibration of this, the pure part. You see? So, because when you're drinking, you are connecting with this pure essence. But the most that you change and manipulate and try to, manipulate the things, the most hucha that you bring. Not just to you, that you are the leading the ceremony, if not to everyone that follow you. You see? So there, in one point is don't go to be a medicine anymore because don't have a spirit.
Hmm.
Don't have the pure part of the spirit. You're transforming in human reality.
Hmm.
And to see how the people using medicines in this way is really painful for us,
Hmm.
you know.
And I imagine it's a problem because financially it's bringing a lot of money in, and so maybe that's leading local people to make choices that they really don't want to make. It's a hard
Um,
position to be in, right? With all that money flowing in.
yeah, because and there you have people that you know. It's funny. You see this part in Canada too. You know, people that go and have how long you drinking medicine? Oh, I go 10 times to Peru in 3 years, and now I am shocked. Sure, I training 9 years living here, doing ceremonies, thousands of ceremonies before I have the permission to give one little cup of medicine to somebody.
You said 9 years with Wachuma before you could pour for
Nothing.
someone else. Hmm.
Exactly. You see? So, And or you see people here that dressing like long hair, all the necklace, the regalias and the things, and walking in the streets and say, "Oh, I am the shaman.
Mm.
Come with me, and everything is in love, everything is in harmony, and we need to give and give medicine because these guys don't have the know something. Okay, I don't want to say don't know nothing, but it's not enough to lead in some ceremony. You know, the first movement is the economy. You know, it's for this reason that in Canada, for example, I don't give medicine. I love to teach. You know, I love to teach. See, you know, if you like to learn about the medicine, you need to learn the tradition.
Mm.
Like if you like to be a doctor, you need to use him. You need to go and study the science that involved all this the reality to be a doctor, you know. So what is the science? If you like to be a shaman, what is the science that supporting you? Traditional science.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to study traditions to be a shaman. If you don't know traditions, you don't speak the language of the medicine.
Mm.
And you just put like what I say with the Santo Daime, for example, Daime is ayahuasca. Don't try to study the essence of the ayahuasca, if not put the Catholicism there. You see? So
Mm.
you don't know nothing about the medicine because you don't like to study the medicine. You just go and using the medicine. And the medicine go to bring for you to be lost
Mm.
because you don't understand what is the language of the medicine. When I teach traditions, I try to letting you and supporting you to learn the language of the medicine. So when you one day when you have the opportunity to be connected with the medicine, you will understand what the medicine say to you.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Because more important than the ceremony is the interpretation of the ceremony.
Mm.
You see, how you digest all the knowledge that you see, all the message that the medicine give to you
Mm.
in the ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the wrong understanding, you go to make mistakes.
Yeah, well, this is something that happens, right? Is people will do some ceremonies and then they'll say, well, the medicine told me that I'm ready to start serving. And so, how do you help people discern between the medicine talking and their ego?
Exactly for this reason is important the physical teacher too.
Mm. So, having the physical teacher who's steeped in the tradition, I come out of ceremony, I say, teacher, teacher, the medicine told me I'm ready to be a shaman. And the teacher says,
Sure,
maybe, maybe not, right?
yes. Or say, sure, come, I go to teach you how to be a shaman. You
Okay.
need to follow me. You need to follow this tradition. You need to learn about this ritual. You need to learn about these ceremonies. What you see here in this celebration, you see all these different symbols that exist in every single part of the tradition. Of course, the medicine tell you that it's possible for you to be a shaman. Now you have the commandment to be a shaman.
Yeah.
You have the patience to learn to be a shaman. It's like go to the university. It's not something that, oh, I feel that I like to be connected. Yeah, sure, go to field, do the ceremonies, and we will see how many people you supported to be lost, including you.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. Well, thanks for that. I know it's a complicated situation, and I appreciate you speaking so openly and honestly about it, how you feel. Now, we've got to wrap up pretty soon, but I want to talk to you about the retreats that you have coming up. You've got a week-long retreat at a place that's really close to my heart, Hollyhock on Cortes Island in Canada, a place where I've had some amazing experiences. It's such a peaceful, quiet, beautiful, natural place. right on the edge of the world of Canada. It's about as far west as you can get before you drop into the ocean.
Yes.
And I know this is a place you've been to a number of
Uh,
times. What can people expect to experience or learn during that week with you?
well, it's funny because I never programmed one class.
Mm,
It's something that is going to be in the moment. But I wanna teach about the three bodies: your mind, your body, and your soul. And I wanna supporting people to harmonize these three bodies. In one hands, to make the perfect union between these three bodies. Recognize who you are in your soul, recognize who you are in your mind, and recognize who you are in your body. And from there, move everything together, you know, finding harmony between you and your worlds. For example, with the retreat, we supporting the people to see and give value to all the ideas and the things that you're thinking, you know, and from there to try to make peace with all your ideas.
mm,
You see, we realize that the soul is a little bit relating by the feelings. Okay, so we will see what you feel, and we will see how you go to make some kind of harmony between all your feelings. What happens if I feel angry, sad, but I also feel happy? I also feel good. How you harmonize these feelings? It's no nothing to fight. It's not to choose one. You need to choose all your feelings together.
mm.
And when you put your feelings together, you finally go into your soul. You see? So it's a really beautiful journey, teaching about the three elements, the three bodies, and we go to give some exercise to harmonize your three bodies using the four elements. You know,
Hmm.
because in many traditions, seven is a point of balance. You know, uh, and seven be the union between the three bodies and the four elements.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so how we go to use and harmonize these three bodies and the four elements, how we go to growing in a spiritual path. Yeah, it's more or less what is going to
It
happen.
sounds like Andean yoga, which
Yes.
sounds really good to me. And also, I love the your approach of like respecting all of your thoughts and feelings and really honoring them, not pushing things away. It sounds like a really sound psychology.
Mhm.
You know, it sounds like this tradition really is a way of taking care of the whole person.
Yes. I think for this reason I say is the main mission for the Andean tradition to supporting the humanity to be a better humans. Because right now we are humanoids, you know, machines
Mm,
go and do something and learn to do the things, but we forget to be humans.
mm,
So with these classes, we try to supporting the people to remember how it's possible to go to be a human, you see,
yeah.
and remember your humanity. This is the main reason why we are here in this reality. We don't be in this reality to be angels. We don't be in this reality to be, I don't know, something different. We are in this reality to be humans.
Hmm.
And we need to learn how to be the best humans that is possible to be.
That's beautiful, man. That's a great place to end. I love that message and I love your mission in the world. And again, I just want to thank you for taking the time to speak with all of us today.
My pleasure, my bro, and thank you for the invitation. And please, for everyone that listen this the beautiful interview, receive the blessings from the Andes. You see? receive the blessings from my land,
Mm.
you know. And, yeah.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel it, man. And thank you to the Apus for making sure we had a good connection. You're up in the mountains in Cusco. I'm in snowy, cold Montreal, and here we are. I feel like we've been in the same space together. So,
It's fantastic.
much gratitude. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my bro, and blessings for you, your family, and all your audience.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias, hermano. Que te vaya bien.